Hello and welcome to today's shir. Today is Sukkah Daf Yomi Succah 32. Shmuel cannot join me today. He's busy fishing. He's not fishing. It's Elul. You don't fish in Elul. Gemara says in the bottom of Lamed Aleph Beis Niktam Rosha Amar Rav Huna Lo Shanu Ela Niktam. We're only talking about if the top of the lulav got chopped off. Al nitzdak, if it was just split, kosher. If the leaves were split, it's kosher. V'nistak kosher is really, if the leaves are split, is that kosher in your lulav? Atanya lulav kafuf, a lulav that is bent over. It's the top of it is bent over. Kavutz, the top of Alam Beis Amid Aleph, kavutz, or if there's thorns coming out of it, saduk. Like we said over here, if it has split leaves, akum doma lamagel, or it's not just the head is bent over, but the actual entire lulav is bent over, like a sickle, pasul. Those all cases are pasul. Charus, pasul. If it's very hard, it's pasul. Doma lacharus. If it's not completely hard, it's just hardening, then it's kosher. So we see over here from this price that saduk is a problem. The leaves are split. It's a problem. Amarav Pava David Kehimnik. You know, this is a psul in a lot of lulavim. It's like a field goal. You know, like in NFL, we have a field goal. It looks like this. If it's just split, a lot of times the tiomet, the middle leaf is split. You know, like this, but it's split like this. So like a field goal. So then it's kehimnik. It's like the tool of a sofer, a scribe. A himnik is like this, and if it's like that, then it passels. Amarav Papa, Akum Domala Magol. Amarava, so we're quoting what the Brisa says. If it's bent over like a sickle, Amarava lo Amarella Lafanav. The Brisa is only talking that it's possible if it bends forward. Avala Acharav, if it bends backwards, normally is the way you hold it. You hold the shedra, you hold the spine facing you. So if it's bent backwards towards you, that's kibriyasa. That's the way it normally grows. It normally grows that it's bent a little backwards, so it's okay. Amar Rav Nachman, let's start. Then what if it's bent to the side? Kill the fun of dami. So he says, one opinion says, that's like it's like facing to the front, it's bent over to the front. Amri lak la'achrav. Some say it's actually like it's bent to the back, to be kosher. We paskin, that's kill the fun of, and it's possible. When you buy a lulav, to make sure if it's a little bent, that's not really a problem. The problem is when it's domek kamagal, it's domek to a sickle. It's completely bent over very much. It's very noticeable. Then it would be a problem. Amarava hailu lulav the salik b'chad hutza balmum hu pasul. If you have a lulav, normally the leaves of the lulav come in pairs. So if you have a lulav that doesn't have pairs, it only has one leaf, all the leaves are like that, or a row of them are like that, that's going to be a balmum. It's going to be pasul probably, or all 7 days. It's not called a lulav. Nifritzu olive. Let's say the leaves were split. Amarav papa nifritzu the avid kichufya. Nifritzu, in the Mishnah, they were split off, meaning they were taken off, and you made it like a broom. They were completely detached, and you reattached them, you tied them around to make it a broom. That's possible. Nifridu, but if they're just separated, the ifrude, it's just they're separated, that's kosher. What's halacha if the tiomes, the middle 2 leaves, is split? This is the most common psul you have by dalad minim. You know, all the real people who are trying to learn how to take a lulav with kosher apostle, they go to the Rebbe, they watch the Rebbe do it, and the Rebbe like throws the lulav down or whatever, and they try to split it open and to see how far the split goes down. You know, the lulav is a tefach, more than a tefach. If you want to get your smicha and lulavim, go to your Rebbe, check out how he checks for the nichkat yomas, the most common psul by lulavim. And maybe you get smicha, become a rabbi for dal minim. Pays well, I heard. So the Gemara says, Rav Papa asked, what's the halacha? Tashma, the Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishra ben Levi, nitlat yomas pasul. If the tiomas, the middle 2 leaves were taken off, it's possible. My life would do nechlika. Doesn't it mean we would assume it's the same thing if it's split? It's like it's taken off. Gemara says lo nitla shiny. If it's taken off, then it's chaser. It's missing something. If it's just split, it's not missing anything. The chaser like because it's missing something. When it's split, it's not missing anything. Alternatively, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rishon ben Levi, nechel gatiomis nasek mishnitla gatiomis upasul. A different opinion. Rishon ben Levi says that if it's split, it's actually like it's missing something. So now the problem is whether it's a psul of chaser, or is it a psul of hadar. If it's a psul of chaser, then it's lakach tam. It has to be a complete taking. It only puzzle the first day. Nechel gatiomis only puzzle the first day. If it's a psul shim hadar, it's not beautiful, then it'll be puzzle all zayin yamim. Yudah Omer. Yudah says that you should tie it on the top. If it's splitting, if it's separating to the sides, you should tie it on the top. Tanya Yudah Omer Mishum Rabbi Tarfon Kapos Tmarim Kafos. You read it not kapos like leaves. You read it kafut tied. If it's separated, you should tie it together to make it more beautiful. How do you know it's talking about lulav? Ema charusa. Maybe it's talking about a hard branch. Now, lulav is a supple branch of the date palm tree. Maybe a hardened branch is what the Torah was talking about, where everything was bunched together and hardened together. But kafos v'leika, you need it to be tied. This you can't tie down. It's hard. It's hard to tie the branches together. It's very hard. Ema ufta. Maybe it's just talking about a log from the tree where it's not even branches. Kafas without the ika part. It has to be where it's possible that it can be separated and you can tie it. So this is not possible. One log. It's not the kavanah of the pasuk. I kafas va'omid la'olam. This is already considered tied down forever. It's one log. Ve'ema kufra. Maybe we're just talking about a branch, a root of the tree that has hard, jagged edges coming out. The Torah is meant to be given in a nice way, in a pleasant way. It's not pleasant when you're holding something that has thorns. Maybe kapos doesn't refer to the actual branch; it refers to actually a cluster of dates. Kapi de tamari. We know it's a date palm branch, but maybe it's actually about the dates. It says kafos give. It doesn't say with a vav. It sounds like one. Maybe it's one cluster of dates. Lahu kaf kari, like one cluster of dates is called a kaf. So if it says kafos, we know it's talking about the actual supple branch, the thing we normally use for lulav. There's a story of not a story, but it's known that the Brisker Rav and the Briskers, they have a lot of lulavim. And the Brisker Rav, or I guess current Brisker Rav is Rav Yeshua. Yehuda, who's the current Brisker Rav?
Who's that?
Who's the Brisker Rav now? What's his name? Rav Yeshua is the Brisker Rav? Rav David just passed away. So Rav David used to be the Brisker Rav. Now the Brisker Rav is Rav Yeshua. Rav Yeshua is the Brisker Rav. Apparently in Brisk, they have a lot of lulavim. They go from like place to place and they'll shake like 10 lulavim and they'll break them also or something like that. They shake them really, really hard. Because, right? Yehuda, when you shake the lulav, you shake it hard?
When?
What? When you're to the mitzvah. Come here for a second, Yehuda. Come here. You're my guest. You're a temporary guest for today. Come here, Yehuda. Just come for 1 second. Yehuda is going to join me, so just I can say that I have a guest for today's shir. Yehuda, I like to see your face. Are you familiar with Parak Lulav Al Gazel?
Yeah, I know it.
Did you actually ever steal a Gemara Sukkah to Mekayim Lulav Al Gazel?
No.
You never stole? Did you steal a lulav? You never stole a Gemara Sukkah. You never stole a lulav. This is the family I married into. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? This is the family I married into. All right, no more jokes. It's Elul. We gotta get serious. Elul, are you allowed to joke around in Elul, Yehuda?
I know.
You're not allowed to joke around in Elul. Only with Benzi Lang. If you're with Benzi Lang, you're allowed to joke around. If you're not with Benzi Lang, then tough luck. All right, thanks, Yehuda.
Sure.
All right, Sinehara Barzel. It says that if you have these lulavim from this place called Sinai Harbazal, it's kosher. Amar Abai, Lo Shana Lo Sharosh Shalzeh. Apparently, these lulavim had very scant leaves. They had very few leaves, and the leaves weren't very long. Lo Shana Ela Sharosh Shalzeh Magila Sadikar Shalzeh, where you have to cover the main stem of the lulav, the spine of the lulav. It has to be covered. So if the bottom leaf doesn't reach the top of the beginning of the next leaf, and it's not kosher. If they don't reach the next leaf, it's possible. It's not covered. Brisa says it's possible. The Mishnah says it's shira. It must be the chiluk like Abaye. Depends whether it reaches the next leaf. Some ask it as a question. Mishnah says it's kosher. Tanya psul. The Brisa says it's possible. Abaye. Lo kasha. Kan shor shalzeh magia l'tzad ikaro shalzeh. Kan she'ein rosh shalzeh magia l'tzad ikaro shalzeh. It has to be that the bottom leaf reaches the beginning of the next leaf. Amar Rab Merion, Amar Rishon ben Levi, Amar Latana Rabbi Bar Mari, Mishum Rabbi Yocham ben Zakkai, Shtei Tmaros yesh beGei ben Hinnom. In the valley of Gei ben Hinnom, wherever that is, there's two palm trees. There's smoke coming out between them. These palm trees are actually the Sinai Har Barzel. V'hi Pischa Shel Gehenim. That's the entrance to the Gehenim. The entrance to Gehenim is in this Gehinom. Where is the place for Gehenim? People probably search for this, or you avoid this. I don't know. Search for the Pesach to Gan Eden. Where is Gan Eden in this world, or where is Gehenim in this world? It's not so easy. Even Sherlock Holmes couldn't figure it out. All right. Lulav sheyesh bo shlosha tfachim. A lulav that has, Mishnah says, 3 tfachim. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, shir hadas v'arava shlosha. The shir for a hadas and a rava, the kosher part of the hadas and a rava have to be 3 tfachim. Lulav arba, lulav has to be 4 tfachim. Kedei shei lulav yotzim in a hadas tefach. In order that the lulav should be taller than the hadas and a rava. Not only the leaves of the lulav, but you actually need the spine of the lulav to be 4 tfachim. It's not lulav sheish bo gimel tfachim k'dei lanei bo kosher. Mishnah says it only needs 3 tfachim in order to wave it. It's kosher. We just said according to both mandarim you need 4. Ema ukidei eravav ukidei lanei bo kosher. You need the extra tefach in order to wave it. Mark this. One says an extra of the spine, extra tefach of the spine, and the other one says all you need is an extra tefach of the leaves. Tashma shir hadas v'arava shlosha v'lulav arba. Shir hadas and arava is 3 tefachim, a lulav is 4. Ma'ila b'hadei alin. Are we talking about 4 tefachim with the leaves? Not like Rav Parnich. Lo levad ma'alin. No, except for the leaves. Without the leaves, you need 4 tefachim of the shedra itself. Gufa. Shir hadas v'arava shlosha v'lulav arba. Tarfon omer ba'am bas chamisha tefachim. The Tarfon says you need an amma measured in 5 tefachim. So now the Gemara assumes that Rabbi Tarfon's arguing and says instead of 3 tefachim with hadas and rava, you need 5 tefachim. Rava sharale mari Rabbi Tarfon. Pardon the master Rabbi Tarfon. Hashta avo shlosha lo mishkachinan. It's hard to find a myrtle branch, a hadas that has 3 kosher tefachim. Bas chamisha mibaye, but we're going to find 5 tefachim. Kiasar of dimi amar amma bas shisha tefachim asay ota bas chamisha. He says the kavanah Tarfon is not to say that you need 5 tefachim for your hadas. All it means to say is that instead of you measure the amma with 5 tefachim, it was 6 tefachim. Same hand shlosha lahadas v'ashar lulav. So therefore, if you convert 3, when it's measured with 6 tefachim for an amma, so it's 3. When you measure 5 tefachim for an amma, same hand shlosha lahadas v'ashar lulav kama havalu. How big are the hadasim? Plasa v'tlasa chumshei 3 3/5. Kasha the Shmuel the Shmuel. Hacham Rav Yom Shmuel Shiradas Arav Shlosha. First we saw Shmuel said the Shiradas 3 tefachim. V'asam Rav Huna Shmuel Lachak Rabbi Tarfon. Lachak like Rabbi Tarfon. They measure with 5 tefachim for an amma. It's really 3 3/5 for the hadas. So then where it says lo dak, he wasn't precise. Maybe you say that when you go l'chumra, I mean he wasn't precise. He said more machmir shir. L'kula miyamrina was he wasn't precise to say 3 tefachim when really you need 3 3/5 tefachim. He wouldn't go l'kula and that'd be imprecise. You're not going to be yotze. Me and Reno Dak. He also Rav I'm bas chamisha tefach ma'aseh osa shisha. No, he says what we're really talking about. We're starting with an amma that was 5 tefachim, and now you convert it to 6 tefachim. Same hand shlosha lahadas v'ashar lulav. So therefore, kama hafale trei upalgos. How big is your hadas? If you convert, if we normally said that the hadas was 3 tefachim in an amma measured 5 tefachim, so when you convert the amma into 6 tefachim, you're gonna end up with a hadas that's not 3 tefachim, but 2.5 tefachim. So kasha the Shmuel. So ended up being the kasha and Shmuel. The Shmuel said before 3 tefachim. Now he's saying the lachas like a retar phone that is 2.5 tefachim. Lo dak. So Ryan says he wasn't precise. I know l'chumra lo dak. He was more machmer. He said 3 tefachim. He was just being imprecise, and he said 3 tefachim. Really, the lacha is 2.5 tefachim. Amar Rav Huna Amar Shmuel lacha retar phone. Lacha bas retar phone. You only need 2.5 tefachim. I don't know whether it's a halacha or not, whether you have a hadas that's 2.5 tefachim kosher, but there is an opinion in the Gemara like that. Consult your local modern Orthodox rabbi. He'll probably let you off the. Nothing wrong with modern Orthodox. I think it's great. I believe in going the kula, if you can. If it's legitimate. You have 2 opinions over here. One says the kula, one says the chumrah. Who says you have to go the chumrah over here now? The sheer hadas and aravos, meaning, on the first day it might be the oraisa. The rest of Sukkot is only the rabbanon. So for sure, for the rest of the days of Sukkot, you can rely on 2.5 tefachim. All right, the Mishnah hadas hagazel v'hayavish puzzle. If you have a hadas that is stolen or it's dry, that's puzzle. Shalasher shalanedakas. It was worshipped or is part of our subverted city. Iranidakas is parsha re'eh. Iranidakas is a condemned city. They're going to be burned. Puzzle. It's pasha because it's lacking the shear. Niktam rosho. If the head, the top of the hadas is cut off, nifritzu olav, or the leaves fell off, or sheyanav merubah ma'alav, or merubos ma'alav, or more berries on it than leaves. Puzzle. The miyatan kosher. If you took off the berries, it can't be rov berries. If it's more rov berries, then it's a puzzle. But if you took off the berries, it's kosher. You can't do it on Yom Tov. It's a problem of masak and mana. You're creating a kli, and that's a problem. Do on Yom Tov. Tanraban anaf eitz avos. Shanaf of chofin es eizo. Ve'ezahu heavy omer is a hadas. How do you know the Torah was talking about a myrtle branch? It says anaf eitz avos. So therefore, eitz avos refers to the actual wood. Anaf is a shoot. A shoot is leaves. Therefore, it says enough of chofin es eizo, that the shoots. It looks like a braided thing. That the way that the hadas is the only tree where the actual leaves are formed like a braid around, cover the actual wooden stem. The emazesa, an olive tree also, the leaves cover the stem. By an avos v'leika, you need it to be braided. The way of a hadas, when you have 3 leaves coming out, they overlap one another. It looks like a braid. The zayas tree, you don't have it. Emal dulva. Maybe we're talking about a chestnut tree. But enough of chofin et eitz v'leika. There it is braided, but it's not a lot of leaves, so it doesn't completely cover the stem. V'leika ve'ema hirduf. Say it's the tree of hirduf. This is the tree that Moshe Rabbeinu used to sweeten the bitter waters. He says you can't use that because it has points, it has thorns coming out of it, and it's not pleasant. You have to live a pleasant life as a Torah scholar. He says since it's poisonous to animals, so therefore it doesn't bring shalom. It lacks shalom. It's going to kill animals. Tanu Rabbanan. It's a riot from the Gemara for animal rights. You see? Tanarabanan. Machlokas of Mayan Rabba. Tanarabanan. Kalua kimin kliya v'dom mishashela zeu hadas. If it's braided like a braid and it looks like a pattern, a plate, this is a hadas. Rebbe plate, not plait, not pltee, plate, like China. Zeu hadas. Rabbi Lezer min Yaakov Omer anaf eitz avos eitz shatam eitzo pirya shava. He learns the fact that it signals the leaves and it signals the wooden branch, so therefore it equates it to, it has to be that the leaves taste like the tree. Heavy Omer is a hadas. Apparently the hadas tree, if you taste the leaves, it tastes exactly like the bark. I know here in Telstone there's a group of people that like to taste hadassim before Sukkot. They'll, they taste it. They give it a grade between 1 and 10, how woody it is. Is the stem, 1 to 10? Is it 7 woody? And then they taste the leaves. If it's 6 woody, they throw it away. It has to be 7 and 7 exactly. Right, Yehuda? There's a taste test. Yehuda thinks I'm crazy. All right. They don't have that in Tulsa, no. But trust the Gemara, Myrtle Branch, whatever they sell you in the olive packages, I'm sure they've tasted it first. Are you sure about that? You sure they tasted it first? Amar. What? What bracha do you say on it? Ori Pri Adam. I don't know. Ori Pri Eitz. It's an Eitz, right? Tana Eitz Avos kosher. V'she'eno Avos pasal. It's braided if the leaves look like they're overlapping, and it's kosher. If it's not overlapping pasal, Echidam Avos. What's it Avos? Amar Rabbi Yehuda, the kaima tlasa tarpi bikina. It has to be 3 leaves are coming out of one stem. The same, you can tie the Chazon Ish, you write a circle around them. It has to be, or the places where the leaves come out, the stem where the leaves come out have to be like a circle. It has to be within the same circle. Rav Kana Amar Afilo Trei V'chad. He says even there's 2 leaves coming out of one place and one on top of it. It's okay. He would go look for this type of hadas that had 2 leaves coming out in one place and one on top of it. Hold enough in between the Rav Kana, since Rav Kana said that. My father, he would call that a hadas shota, a deranged, crazy hadas, because it's not growing normally. If most of the leaves of the hadas fell out and you had a miyut, less than half the leaves remaining, it's kosher. As long as the braiding is still there. Ha gufakash. It doesn't make any sense. Amar nasharova olav kosher. If most of his leaves fell out, it's kosher. As long as the braiding is still around. The natural tray, once 2 leaves fall out, 2 out of every 3 leaves fall out. You're not going to find it braided. You'll have 1 leaf instead of 3. Amar Abai mishkachas ba'asa mitzra. We're talking about hadas tab b'lam gilmal aleph that was found from Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, the kaimi shiva b'chad kina. They had 7 leaves coming out of each place in the stem. The chinachi arba, even if 4 of them fell out, 4 of them fell out, pashalu tlasa, you at least have 3. Amar Abai shmamina hayatsa mitzra kosher lehoshana. An Egyptian asa, her myrtle branch from Egypt, is kosher for your lulav and esrog. Pshita, of course, pasha. Why not? Ma'od the same whole of islay shem lavoy. It has an accompanying name. It's called an Egyptian myrtle. Lomis kasher, like we said on Daf Yud Gimel. Shem lavoy usually is a problem. Kamash malan, maybe it's not a problem over here. Maybe it should be a problem. Eitz avos amar Rachmana mikol makom. The Torah said eitz avos. It didn't say a specific eitz avos. It just said a general eitz avos. So therefore, any one, even if it's from Mitzrayim, it's going to be kosher. All right, we're going to stop here. That's the end of today's shir. Yehuda, are you ready for Sukkot?
Yeah.
Did you buy a lulav and esrog yet?
No.
A lot of people, when El comes, they want to take upon themselves new things. So maybe if you buy a lulav, and I'm suggesting a new chiddush over here. If you buy your dal minim at the start of Elul, maybe that'll be a zchus for you for Yom Hadin. All right, that's my advice for you tonight.